No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or in public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken or for public use without just compensation.
In 1963, info about the case. In 1963, Louise Ann Jameson was kidnapped and raped. Louise's brother saw the license plate number of the car and took it to the police and identified that the car belonged to Ernesto Miranda.
Miranda was arrested in his house on March 13, 1963. He was then taken to the police department and interrogated forcefully by the police about his connection to the kidnapping case. He was not told his Fifth Amendment rights and not given legal counsel. He then confessed his guilt.
Miranda was convicted of both rape and kidnapping and sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison. He appealed to the Arizona Supreme Court, claiming that the police had unconstitutionally obtained his confession.
However, the court disagreed and upheld the conviction. Miranda then appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which reviewed the case in 1966. The Supreme Court stated that the prosecution could not introduce Miranda's confession as evidence in a criminal trial because the police had failed to first inform Miranda of his right to an attorney and to resist self-incrimination in a 5-4 decision written by Chief Justice Earl Warren.
The police had a duty to give these warnings due to the Constitution's Fifth Amendment.
It protects people where their freedom of action is restricted in any significant way from being compelled to incriminate themselves. Therefore, the prosecution may not use statements that have come from custodial interrogation, restraint of movement of the defendant unless it demonstrates the use of procedural safeguards effective to secure the privilege against self-incrimination.
For the majority and minority view and vote count, the case was appealed to the Arizona Supreme Court after Miranda was ruled guilty in a local court. The case was later appealed again from the Arizona Supreme Court to the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices found that Ernesto Miranda's Fifth Amendment rights were violated by the Arizona police, therefore making his confession invalid. In a 5-4 decision written by Chief Justice Earl Warren, the Supreme Court ruled that the prosecution could not use Miranda's confession as evidence because the police had failed to inform Miranda of his right to an attorney and against self-incrimination.
This is relevant to any citizen, and this case influenced other similar cases. Every person who commits a crime and is arrested are told these well-known rights. If this case was decided in the favor of Arizona, then the Miranda warning would not be known and many people would incriminate themselves, when in fact they should be informed that they cannot.